Hey guys,
Hey everybody.
how are you? So we put out a question option for people to ask us what they, to ask us what they wanted us to film in our next YouTube video. So we recorded some of those questions that you asked. I'll go first, Chef, if you don't mind. Someone asked where we met. So I met Chef at 4040. I had already given up on dating because I had tried to date and I was working at a shoe store. I was so tired after working 60 hours. I just did not feel like going out. My girlfriend dragged me out. And I met Chef at 4040 Club, Jay-Z's club in New York. Thank you, Jay. What's yours?
Let's see. Mine says, how do you resolve conflict in your marriage? How do we resolve conflict?
First of all, no one's right or wrong. I think that's how we start. The first 4 years of our marriage, oh my gosh, right? It was, I'm right. Let's break it down to who was right. How did you mess up? This is what you should do. And then what we found after 4 years of back and forth, it really doesn't matter. Everyone has their own perspective of what happened. Most of the arguments we had were just, now that I think about it, it was just like a waste of time, really. They were just senseless. It was more like I was trying to prove you wrong and make myself right. It was about being right or wrong. And I think now we went to a conference in church that it was this marriage counselor guy. He came on and he was talking.
Marriage counselor.
What did I say?
Doesn't matter.
Did I say counselor? Did I say it wrong? Okay, it was a marriage guy. And he pretty much broke it down in the best way that I've ever heard it. He said, at the end of the day, what does it matter if you're right and the person's wrong? What's more important to you? If your marriage is important to you, in that moment of who's right, who's wrong, because the natural thing is to try to defend yourself, we always go back to calming down. That's number one. You calm down and you just walk away and you address it from, how can I make the other person feel better? Because when two people are upset and you have that habit of wanting the other person to feel better, you're not going to throw jabs.
And more importantly, what Jane's trying to get at is the fact that if you guys have an argument or there's some kind of conflict or something like that, and each person in the argument is trying to make the other person feel better, then you squash it and you move on much quicker than you trying to make a point or prove a point. So it's always for us in resolving anything is just, being humble and, not trying to say, well, I was right, and, try to prove it and just say, all right, we had an argument, for us to move on, hey, I'm sorry, or, it's okay to say I'm sorry.
Even when you feel like you were right. I think that's what the guy was trying to say in church. I wish I remember his name right now. Yeah. It's more like putting the other person, I know it sounds crazy, but putting the other person first. So if you're in a marriage, like Chef and I in a marriage, and he's always trying to put me first, and I'm always trying to put him first, you see how no one's left behind. Yeah. And that's what we try to do. Like, regardless of the situation, I'm like, okay, he's not in a good mood right now. How can I make him feel better? Do I need to get him a drink? Do I need to go rub his back? Or do I need to put on his favorite song? Or do I need to help him do something that I know he loves me to help him with? And he does the same for me. That reduced our arguments by now we hardly argue. I just thought arguing in a relationship was kind of normal. Like, you're going to disagree.
You're going to disagree.
Right.
But it's
don't have
knowing
to get
that
ugly,
you disagree and not letting it linger.
Yes.
You don't go to bed if you've had a fight, you don't go to sleep and you guys haven't resolved it. Like, that's one thing you just don't want to do.
100%.
You have to figure out a way. If you need time to cool off, go excuse yourself, say, hey, I'm really upset. I don't want to talk about it right now, but we can talk about it later on, and then just make sure you talk about it and just kind of hash it out, right?
Yeah, I agree. It brings to my question. Someone asked if we ever fight. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, everyone fights.
Yeah.
It's just being the bigger person and admitting when you're wrong. I think that's like one of the most important things you can do, because if you can admit that you're wrong, then the other person will be like, okay, you admit it, and then the defense goes down, the guard goes down, and then it's easier for you guys to kind of come to a conclusion and just kind of
dissolve it.
Yeah.
And I think also with us, when we're not on the same page, the tone, we're very aware of tone. Like, okay, you need to calm down, or your tone is too high, or so not using strong words. Absolutely no cursing.
No cursing, and don't
Period.
use you always, you never. There's
Yeah.
certain words that just kind of
Just fighting words.
yeah, it's just like, you always blame me, or you never do what I, stuff like that. You can't really use those words because it's damaging.
And you know what helped us too? When we would fight and we would say, let's start over. Let's, whenever he would say that or I would say it, we would have to drop, like, no matter how mad you were, the other person just had to drop it. Like, let's start over was kind of our way of saying I'm sorry without saying sorry. And he would say, can we just start afresh? And a lot of times I'll be in the wrong, or he would be. It didn't matter who was in the wrong, but the person to say let's start afresh, we were forced to drop everything.
Cha-ching.
Yes. I think the first 4 years of our marriage, we didn't know any better. We were just like, you know what, you did that, and da-da-da-da. And now it's like, that's such a waste of time, It's like, there's so much love that you can share. And as a couple, you're going to go through phases in your relationship, but you have to fight for your relationship. You have to. And you know what? Don't tell people about what's going on in your relationship. I can understand if you're going through a really tough time and it becomes maybe violent or abusive. That's a different story. But your little arguments that you have, your little he did this, she did that, keep them to yourself. If you need to talk to someone who's experienced a marriage
Counsel.
A pastor, and then even with that, be very aware of who you're talking to.
You don't want to tell friends.
No.
That's what Jane's saying. You don't want to tell friends, and you don't want to tell family members.
No, because they don't forgive them. You would have moved on, and they're still going to bring it up, and they'll look at you like you're crazy. So, like I said, unless you're in a situation where it's violent or it's not healthy.
Domestic abuse.
That's different.
Like
you have to speak up.
You have to talk.
But them little arguments where he didn't take the garbage out. What? You did. You need to keep that to yourself. Have that conversation with your partner, or go to someone who's licensed.
How do you stay not angry? Example, if your husband had the means to help you with a business and didn't.
Oh.
That's a big one.
You got asked that?
I got asked that.
Dang. Ooh.
So, that's tough, because if, and we can play devil's advocate with this and, go on both sides. If I needed help with doing my business and, I asked Jane and she didn't help me, I needed the help, obviously it's gonna be annoying and upsetting, and I'll be very upset. Because if I really needed help and I'm reaching out to my partner, my wife, and she's not helping me, that's not cool.
I know.
But at the same time, it could also be that maybe she sees something that I don't see because I'm in it. And, if she comes up to me and say, hey, I don't want to help you, but this is why, that's a different story. But to just blatantly not help for no particular reason, or doesn't tell me the reason why, you know, you're gonna be upset for a while, but you're gonna have to get over it because you guys are in a marriage, and at the end of the day, you know, it's the two of you, you know, in it together. So you have to figure out a way to move past it, you know, especially if it hurts.
I think part of moving past it or not to get upset is to demand a reason.
Yeah.
Like Chef said, you just have to have that conversation that, okay, you're not obviously helping me and I know you can't. Why? You don't believe in the business? You think it's not right? What is the reason why? Or why are you not being supportive of this business that I'm trying to do? And not in the same environment that you normally would talk to them. Take them to dinner. People always will be different in different environments. Go to dinner, have a massage, just to get to the bottom of what's going on. Go to the movies on your way back, in a different environment that you normally would have conversation, not in your kitchen, not in your bedroom, in a different environment, and see if you can get to the bottom of why they're not supporting you. And that way, when you have a reason, it may make sense to you, and then you won't have to be upset.
Word.
So those are my questions, babe.
That was my question.
Oh, I mean, I'm saying the ones that I already...
Sure. That's still my question.
No. I think we did pretty good. This is our first Q&A, and we're going to come and do more. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have more questions, please leave the comments below, and we'll try our very best to answer them. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel,
subscribe. The
now.
little button. Make sure you turn on notifications.
Please.
So that way when we upload this video and all
Bing, bing,
others, you will get that alert. Red alert. Dip, dip, dip.
Beep, 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 beep.
All that good stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you, my co-host here.
Anytime.
Jane Harris. Yeah.
We love you guys so much. Stay blessed.
Stay tuned.